The Russian Tu-160 Soviet-era bomber is still a threat. This Russian monster has lately launched missiles in Kyiv. The Tu-160 was initially prepared for a nuclear confrontation with the United States, but is currently used as a missile truck outside Ukrainian airspace. It's the largest and fastest bomber in the Russian military's inventory. The Russian Air Force may run out of precision-guided missiles, but this strategic bomber is still Moscow's lifeline. The Tu-160 bomber from Russia is the world's largest and fastest supersonic bomber at present. As if that weren't bad enough, two Russian Tupolev Tu-160 White Swan strategic bombers were sent to Venezuela unexpectedly in December 2018. Support for the South American country's social government was intended by deploying these bombers, which can each carry nuclear weapons. After a flight of almost 10,000 kilometers, 6,200 miles, the bombers made an emergency landing at Maiquetia Airport just outside of Caracas. The aircraft arrived just a few days after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro met with Vladimir Putin in Moscow, making him the most significant U.S. enemy in Latin America. Since then, the two countries have forged an alliance. It's a long way from Russia to Venezuela, yet the Russian government has dispatched aircraft there. To their credit, then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo took to Twitter shortly after the bombers landed in 2018 to call out the two corrupt governments for wasting public cash and stifling freedom and democracy while their people suffered. When a Tu-160 White Swan, NATO reporting name Blackjack, made its way to the socialist South American state, this was not its first time. In reality, more than a decade earlier, another pair of Tu-160s were dispatched to Venezuela in September 2008 as part of military exercises. Before returning to Russia, the bombers are said to have taken part in training flights over neutral waters in the Caribbean and South Atlantic. That deployment came after Hugo Chavez, Venezuela's former president, visited Russia and met with Dmitry A. Medvedev and Vladimir Putin, Russia's then prime minister, to discuss a variety of subjects, including defense cooperation. To avoid flying over NATO territory, the bombers had to take a course that could only be described as highly complicated. Taking off from northern Russia, the bombers flew over the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans for more than 13 hours non-stop. The Tu-160 bombers also flew through neutral waters in 2013 when they visited Russia's socialist ally. On the other hand, Russia may have used these missions to showcase the White Swan's long-range capabilities. White or black? While the Tu-160 White Swan is the world's most powerful and fastest bomber, it is also the world's largest and heaviest bomber. It has a Rockwell B-1 Lancer-like appearance. In the back of continental theaters of operations, it was designed to destroy targets. An alternative is to discharge missiles from the bomb bay doors of the Tu-160 rather than letting them fly directly to their target. As a result, the White Swan was now capable of exceeding the Mach 2 speed limit. As the sole Soviet-designed bomber without defensive armaments, the Tu-160 is frequently followed on patrol missions by fighter aircraft like the MiG-31. Tu-160s, carrying two crews each, will break the record for the longest non-stop flight in this type of aircraft in the fall of 2020. Oleg Pichela and Sergei Volkovitsky were in command of two Tu-160 bombers that took off and landed at Engels Air Force Base south of Saratov, Russia. Named in honor of the communist philosopher Friedrich Engels, this base is the sole location where Tu-160 planes are used. The aircraft traveled across the neutral waters of the Central Arctic and Pacific Oceans, as well as the Kara, Laptev, East Siberia, Chukchi, and Barents Sea throughout the 25-hour voyage. 6 IL-70 tankers refueled each aircraft 3 times in mid-flight. As a bonus, the pilots were greeted by a beautiful beach when they landed in South America after the 13-hour flight. The Tu-160, also known as the White Swan in Russian and the Blackjack in NATO, continues to play an important role in Ukraine's skies. The Caspian Sea is said to have been used to launch Kh-101 cruise missiles from Tu-160s and Tu-195s against Kyiv in late June. Locals seeking to return to regular life after Russia's ground offensive against Kyiv were shocked by this audacious attack. Nuclear weapons delivery. These deadly aircraft may have been deployed to Ukraine to warn the Ukrainians that Russia can still strike the capital from thousands of miles away with nuclear-armed cruise missiles. One person was murdered and 5 people, including a toddler, were injured in the incident, which resulted in 4 explosions and 2 missiles hitting an apartment complex. Product of Cold War to attack North America. Developed in the early 1970s, the Tu-160 was designed by the Soviets to give them a technological advantage and enhance their nuclear triad. The Blackjack first flew in 1981 and was delivered to the Air Force in 1987 after a 10-year development period. After the program was shut down in 1994, only a small number of Blackjacks are still in service. As many as 12 nuclear weapons can be loaded onto a Russian aircraft capable of carrying out nuclear strikes. The B-1B Lancer bomber is comparable to this type. Blackjacks are based in Saratov Oblast in southwestern Russia. Fast with a large payload. The compact fuselage and variable sweep wings of this warbird help to reduce drag. Mach 2 speeds are possible thanks to 4 NK-3202 engines, which is unusual for such a large aircraft. The KH-55MS air-launched nuclear missile can be launched from it. Updates keep the pressure on enemies. An upgraded Tu-160M maintains the Blackjack's distinction as one of the world's best bombers. With the Tu-160M, you'll get a stronger radar, better bomb sighting system, and enhanced jammer capabilities for electronic warfare. It can stay out of the range of SAMs. There were no air defenses in Syria, therefore the Tu-160M could carry out attacks against ISIS and the rebels. Moreover, Russia's Blackjack fleet is so small that it is frequently out of range of Ukrainian surface-to-air missiles, despite the fact that it can fly fast enough to dodge SAMs while in afterburner mode. Record holder for long-range flight. The Tu-160 holds numerous world records for distance flown, speed, and time in the air. In 2008, 2 people flew to Venezuela. In 2010, a bomber flew 11,000 miles in 23 hours straight. The number of missiles Russia can fire from the Tu-160 is the only thing stopping it from posing a serious danger to Ukraine. It is a piece of Cold War-era Russia engineering still in use today. There's no doubt that Russia would like to have more of them in its fleet, given their remarkable capabilities. The Blackjack is well suited to the function of a missile truck, and future attacks on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv are still possible. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's army has little power to halt the situation. Tu bomber's engine and performance. A total of 4 Samara NK-321 turbofan engines power the strategic bomber aircraft, each with a maximum thrust of 25,000 kilograms. Wing-mounted engines are housed in 2 pods under the wing shoulder area. An adjustable vertical wedge is incorporated into the air intake. The bomber can refuel while flying. A probe retracts into the nose of the fuselage in front of the pilot's cabin during the inoperative mode. There is a total of 160,000 kilograms of fuel capacity on board. It can ascend at a pace of 70 meters per second. While at rest, the bomber can reach a top speed of 2,220 kilometers per hour. The aircraft has a range of 12,300 kilometers. The Tu-160 Blackjack can fly for 15 hours at a maximum altitude of 16,000 feet. The aircraft has a takeoff weight limit of 275,000 pounds and a maximum weight of about 110,000 pounds. A pilot, co-pilot, a navigator, and an operator makes up the Tu-160's crew. There are 0 ejection seats in each of the 4 cockpits, so the crew can safely eject at any time and at any altitude or speed, even if the plane is parked. What will it take to bring down the Tu-160? This is a question that we expect to have an answer to in the near future. What do you guys have to say about this awesome Russian fighter? Leave a comment below. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon for any new updates. See you in the next one.